We'll start now. Namaste Sarvebhyah. Oh, Harihi Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Gananaham Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashtrunvan Nudivisi Dasadanam Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Parjantam Vande Shri Guru Paramparam. Om Shri Shankaracharya Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu ma Vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So today we shall start the class with the revision of the last shloka of whatever we have learned so far. That is Yam Brahma. There are totally 4 lines in this shloka. Kanchana Bhagini will call people and each one can chant two lines. Okay, 2 lines, and then the next person can chant the next 2 lines, and then we'll try to repeat it for a few times till everybody is very clear about the chanting procedure. Okay, shall we start?
Sharada Rajan Bhagini.
Namaste Mahoday.
Namaste.
Namaste Mahoday.
Namaste.
Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunmanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangha Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha. Once more.
Very good. No, another person can take the...
PB Veena Shri Bhagini. PB Veena Fani Shri Bhagini. Sheila Shinde Bhagini. Okay, Vani Shri Veena has come.
Madam, disturbance one, madam. First 2 lines, ma'am.
Can the second 2 lines, okay?
Dhyana vasti tatkaten manasa pasyanti yam yoginam yastyantana vidu tura suragana devaya tasmai namaha.
Can you repeat again, please? Slowly.
Dhyana vasti tatkaten manasa pasyanti yam yogina yasyantana vidu Turasuragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha.
Just some corrections are required. Jnana vastita dadgate na. It is not in. In Sanskrit, when you don't have any small line at the bottom of the akshara should be pronounced full. Na. It should not. In Hindi, sometimes you say in for that kind of a syllable. Sanskrit, no. Sanskrit is very, very clear. Wherever, in the case of second line, Sangha Padakramopena, you see a line at the bottom. You see this line? That only you should say half matra. Otherwise, you should say pronounce it fully. Jnana vasti tadadgatena manasa. Then pashyanti yai yogina. That ha was missing. Similarly, you missed sura ganaha. That also was missing. So try to learn it as you see other people chant. Okay, next person. The first 2 lines.
Shinde Bhagini.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaste.
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः
Very good.
ध्यानावस्थित
Okay, completed. You started completed. Jnana.
ओके ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यै योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः.
Very good. I think we all have to have this speed of chanting, which will help you all to chant better. Very good. Yeah. Next.
Hariharan Mahodaya.
Yeah. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुदः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः.
Next 2 lines also you chant.
ध्यानावस्थिततद्गदेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः.
You chanted well. There are 2 small areas of correction. First line is tavaihi. You said tavai. You didn't say he. Similarly, vedai sanga padakka bopanishadaihi. That daihi you did not say. You just said dai. Okay. Just keep it in mind. Huh?
Thank you. Thank you.
Next.
Rajeshwari Shivashankar Bagini.
నమస్కారం సార్ ఫుల్లా చల్లటమా మొదల 2 లైనా
Fulla cholumo.
యం బ్రహ్మ వరుణేంద్ర రుద్ర మరుతః స్తున్వంతి దివ్యైస్తవైః వేదైః సాంగపదక్రమోపనిషదైః గాయంతి యం సామగాః ధ్యానాवस्थिततत्कदेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः.
Very good. Only thing sura asura ganaha devaya naha was missed out. Otherwise, it was very well chanted. Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bagini.
Yes, ma'am. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः.
Very good. I think nishadaihi. I think you missed it. I. Okay.
Vishadaihi. Okay, sir.
That was missed.
Oh, nishadaihi. Yes, sir.
Sanga pada krama nishadaihi. Okay. And then somebody else who is having somebody has unmuted their. Yes, I hear some other voice. They can perhaps mute their computer. Okay. One more person.
Sai Lakshmi Bagini.
नमस्ते महोदय.
Namaste.
यं ब्रह्म वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगः ध्यानावस्थिततत्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यास्तान्तनं विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः.
I think you may have to practice a bit more. Okay.
Okay.
Listen to the chanting of everybody because there are mistakes in every line and Many of the
Okay.
padas. Like Yam Brahma, you said Brahma. And
Okay.
last line, I think there was a lot of jumbling of the various aksharas. You may have to practice
Okay.
like you. Okay?
Okay, Mahoday. Okay, sir.
One
R.
more.
Vijayalakshmi Bagini.
नमस्ते महोदय
Namaste.
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैशाङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थितदत्तदेन मनसा पश्यन्ति ययोगिनः यस्यान्दन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः.
Very good. One more.
Shanti Bagini.
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यै योगिनः यशान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः.
I think the chanting has been very good. I am sure that with the practice that you are all undertaking through the other classes, you will be able to master the shlokas. Okay? So I think today with this we will transition into the Bhagavad Gita chapter 1. Is okay with everybody? Kanchana,
Okay,
Bhagini, okay now?
Yes, Mahodaya. Yes, Mahodaya.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mahoday.
You could see my screen now?
Yes,
Yes,
Mahodaya.
Okay.
Yes, Mahodaya.
So now we are in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. As you all know, Bhagavad Gita has got 18 chapters. Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata and it is a part of the Bhishma Parva portion of Mahabharata. And as we also read in our Dhyana Shlokas, no? Bharata Amrita Sarvasvam. Gita is identified to be Amritam of Mahabharata. It is a Mahabharata, is a very huge number of texts, shlokas are there. In that, the 700 texts are supposed to be the nectar of the entire Mahabharata. Okay, so that's what now we are going to study about this. And I am sure that most of you are already aware about Mahabharata stories. Mahabharata was a historical event, and there are a lot of stories about Mahabharata. And I'm sure that most of you have got a wonderful understanding of the various characters we have in Mahabharata, why Mahabharata war took place, the characteristics of each one of the people who were involved in the Mahabharata war. And if you look at that way, I'll just only start talking about few important characters. Okay. If you look at sage Vyasa, Vyasa is an important character and he is the person who has compiled the entire Mahabharata. He is the son of Parashara Muni. Okay, Parashar Rishi. So Parashar Rishi. And he has been born to Satyavati. Satyavati is the fisher woman. So Vyasa, sage Vyasa is the son of Parashara Rishi and Satyavati. Satyavati with Shantanu was the father of Bhishma. Bhishma was born to Shantanu through the mother Ganges. Okay, so he's also called as Ganga Putra, or he's also called as Pitamaha. As we start this talking about Mahabharata, he's also called as the eldest sire in the entire family, Pitamaha. So Bhishma. The other thing is that she had two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada did not have any children. Vichitravirya married two wives, Ambika and Ambalika. They both had a problem of getting children, and Vyasa had to help in terms of getting children. So they had two children. One, Ambika gave birth to Dhritarashtra, Ambalika to Pandu, right? And then Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they give rise to the entire Kauravas. And then Pandu, Kunti, they have this, and Madhuri, they have this Pandavas. So what happened was that Bhishma was supposed to be, after Santanu, Bhishma was the person who was supposed to have taken the throne of Hastinapura. But because Santanu had married Satyavati, what had happened was that Bhishma had made a promise that he will never ascend to the throne of Hastinapura, and whoever is there in the throne, he will always be supporting that person. Whoever is the king of the throne of Hastinapura, Bhishma had pledged and given a vow to his father that he will support the person who is sitting in the throne and he will not ascend to the throne. That is one thing. Then Dhritarashtra was born blind. So as per the Dharma Shastras, anybody who is having Angahina, that is anybody who is having some kind of deformations in the body, especially any of the senses are not good for them, then they are not fit to become a Prajapati. They cannot become a Raja. Because Rajas cannot rely on 4 faculties to understand the state of health of the kingdom. He has got to have all the 5 senses possible so that he'll be able to understand everybody, what is happening. If one of his senses is not there, he has got to depend on somebody else in terms of knowing the people's welfare and people's issues. And that is not acceptable as per Dharma Shastra. So Dhritarashtra was not entitled to become the king of Hastinapura. That made Pandu to become the king of Hastinapura. That itself made lot of enmity in the mind of Dhritarashtra and lot of jealousy and greed on Pandu with Dhritarashtra. Though Pandu is a very, very good person, Dhritarashtra did not like Pandu. That kind of hatred also started coming on Dhritarashtra in terms of Pandu's children, because Pandu's children had a different types of upbringing. They were all Dharmashilas. They were all having lot of value for Dharma. Value systems were there. They also had lot of competence. Like if you look at Dharmaraja, that is Dharma Putra, that is the eldest of them, Yudhishthira. He was a person who is exemplified Dharma very well. Then you have Bhishma. Bhishma is a kind of Vayuputra. He also had a lot of capabilities and he had also a lot of Vedic knowledge. If you look at Arjuna, he was one of the smartest person, strategic capabilities, logistic capabilities, thinking, all those things are very, very high with Arjuna. Nakula and Sabadeva were born to Madhuri. Nakula was supposed to be also very, very good in terms of archery like Arjuna. Sakadeva was supposed to be wonderful in terms of Jyotisha and other kinds of things. So if you look at the Pandu's children, they were extremely good. The quality of the father, Dhritarashtra, had also brought in some bad qualities in the minds of his own children, that is the entire Kauravas. I will not say entire Kauravas because we also had Vikarna as a part of one of the 100 children of Dhritarashtra. He was slightly a different person who was having a lot of value systems. So what happened was that right from the time Duryodhanas, that is the entire 100 children of Dhritarashtra were born, those children did not like the children of Pandus. Those children were not as smart and as good as that of Pandu's children, as that of Pandava's children. So what happened was that after our Pandu died, I don't want to go into the total story of Mahabharata, then Yudhishthira was also identified to be the person who can become the head of the Rajya. This was not liked by them. So there was a lot of schemes that was made. Then they forced them to go to Indraprastha. The Indraprastha was also made a very good place in terms of ruling and all. Then Indraprastha was also taken back by this dirty game of dice. And they also had done a Manabhangam for Draupadi, etc. And then they had to ask them to go on, exile for 12 years, for 14 years in the forest. And they had to be incognito for 1 more year. And then only they can come and claim the kingdom. And then they had made Duryodhana to be the crown prince in the place of, in the Hastinapura thing. So these people, after completing the tenure of doing things in the forest for 12 years and incognito for 1 more year, they came back to Hastinapura asking for the position, asking for place for them in the kingdom. But that was refused by the Dhritarashtra as well as the entire Duryodhanas. So they said they will not give them anything. They said that we will not even give you 5 villages. We won't even give you 5 huts. We won't even give you needle space for you people in this particular place. That's what they said. Then they were left with nothing. Then there was also the intervention of Krishna. Krishna was supposed to be the person who did lot of dialogue and also a lot of mediation work between the Kauravas and Pandavas. But Krishna also was not very successful in terms of doing that. And in the entire process, you will realize that Pandavas, they were able to understand that Krishna is a different person. He is not a normal mortal. They all had some understanding that he could be a very smart person. He is also having some kind of godly qualities, etc. But they did not realize that he is a Avatara Purusha. Whereas Vidura had an understanding that Krishna is an Avatara Purusha. Kunti had an understanding that he is an Avatara Purusha. But some of these people, they thought that he is a different person. Unfortunately, the entire Duryodhanas did not look at Krishna as a person who has got a divine capability. They did not understand what Krishna was telling. They even sometimes disrespected Krishna. That is the state of mind of these people. So Krishna also tried to mediate in terms of getting some kind of the kingdom to the Pandavas, but those things also did not go through. Finally, in terms of getting into some kind, in terms of getting the kind of their rights for the property, of rights for the kingdom, they had to wage a war. Then they had fixed up when they have to start a war, when they should, what they should do, etc., etc. And then on that fixed day, the war started between the Pandavas and Kauravas. Dhritarashtra, he had felt that he will not be able to win the war. He had some kind of inkling in his mind that this war, his sons are going to get defeated thoroughly. But he still had in his mind one thought process that because Bhishma is in the side of Duryodhana, Dronacharya is in the side of Duryodhana, Kripacharya is in the side of Duryodhana, Ashwatthama is in the side of Duryodhana, Karna is in the side of Duryodhana. So he had so many of those kinds of good people a part of Duryodhana's team. So he thought that they will be able to win the war against the Pandavas. Okay. So the war has already started. Dhritarashtra wanted to have an understanding of that war. So he said to Vyasa, then Vyasa understood the need of Dhritarashtra to have an update in terms of war. So he gives Sanjaya, who is the most trustworthy minister of Dhritarashtra, a kind of divine vision with which he will be able to have a look at what is happening in the field, battlefield, and continue to narrate the entire thing to Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra was having Sanjaya was having a live telecast of what is happening in the battlefield, and he was a very good commentator without making any modifications. He was just telling the truth in terms of what is happening there to Dhritarashtra, so that he is getting his entire update. So the scene today is that in Hastinapura palace, Dhritarashtra is sitting, and Sanjaya is starting his narration of what is happening in the battlefield and what emanates in these next 700 shlokas, the primary Bhagavad Gita. That's what is the. I'm just giving a very basic introduction of this because Mahabharata introduction is something very, very huge. The other thing that we need to know is Bhagavad Gita, as you all know, has got 18 chapters. And these 18 chapters are also called as yoga. First chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Second chapter is called Sankhya Yoga. Then Karma Yoga. It's all sorts talking as yoga. This yoga should not be misconstrued as the Patanjali yoga, which is being used in terms of the various kinds of yoga for the body. It is not that kind of yoga. Yoga in the case of Gita has to be understood as a path. When you say Karma Yoga is one path that one person can take in terms of attaining moksha. Jnana Yoga is one path one person can take. Or you can also understand that as a chapter. It's a chapter. Karma Yoga is a chapter. One chapter is called Karma Yoga. So yoga can also be looked upon as a kind of a chapter. The other thing I want to tell you is that though we have specific chapters like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Akshara Brahma Yoga, etc., it does not mean that Karma Yoga only is covered in Karma Yoga chapter. Jnana Yoga only is covered in Jnana Yoga chapter. No. You will find that predominantly that chapter will contain Karma Yoga message. But there will also be message of Sankhya Yoga, there will be something on Jnana Yoga will also be a part of that. The predominant flavor of that particular chapter will be what is there in the title. That's another thing. Then every one of this Bhagavad Gita's chapters, when we complete, we also have one mantra. Yoga Shastre, what is that? I'll just Om Tatsatite Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Pratamodhyaya. It's like that. It's also called Upanishad. Upanishad is what? Upanishad is one that provides information about the self. That is, it is giving the knowledge of the Jnana. Upanishad is something that provides knowledge of an individual, that is self, that is Atma. So Bhagavad Gita also provides Atma Jnana in every one of these chapters. So it is also called Upanishad. So you may have to look at it from the perspective of, it's one thing that is happening as a conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, but it is also going to provide a profound knowledge of understanding oneself. And what is the deep understanding oneself? Understanding oneself, one is able to cross over the samsara sagara, or we are able to attain moksha, or we are able to attain liberation. Then when we start talking about what is moksha, okay, we have to understand what is moksha. If you look at that way, if you look at all the beings, living beings in the world, they undergo 6 stages of vikara, 6 changes they undergo. Okay, be it an animal, be it a cow or a dog or a small worm, all of them undergo 6 stages of vikara. This is Shat Vigara. That is Asti, Jayate, Vartate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati. 6 stages. Asti means it is present. If somebody is carrying, we say the child is there, Asti, but we do not know. Then the child is born, Jayate. Then what happens when the child is born? Vardate, child starts growing. After that, what happens? Viparinamate. There are a lot of bodily transformations that take place. The child, it looks somewhat something. After 1 year, it looks different. After 5 years, it looks different. After 15 years, it looks different. So there's a viparinamate. There's a continuous transformation in the body. Then apakshiyate. So you become 60, 70 years, the body slowly starts falling down. Then finally, nashyati. The body has to fall. So if you look at all the living beings in the world, all of them undergo these 6-fold transformations, including human beings. Asti, Jayate, Vartate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Nashyati. They have to undergo this, be it a human being or be it an animal. If you look at that way, the animals kingdom, except human beings, all of them, they are born, they grow, they have body changes, they procreate, and then they die. There's nothing else they do. You look at a cow which was there in the period of Gopala time, that is the time of Lord Krishna, and now cows are same. The cow is born, the cow eats and grows, the cow then matures, the cow is giving a calf, and the cow becomes old, the cow dies. That's it. Whereas if you look at the human being, only the human beings, we have got an opportunity of buddhi. That is, we can use our mental faculty. We have got a freedom of choice. We can make choices of what we want to do. Today, you have made a choice to come to the Bhagavad Gita class. Somebody has made a choice that I will not come to the class. So you have got a freedom of choice. This choice makes human beings different from the other organisms in the particular world, in the entire universe. So we are all lucky. In fact, they say that Janduna Narajanmam Durlabam. To become a human, it's very, very difficult. It's not possible to become a human being. Shatakoda Janma Shukruti Vina Na Labhyate. You have to do a lot of punya. Only when we have got higher amount of punya than papas in our previous lives, we are entitled to be, not even we will, entitled to get this human body. Otherwise, we have no choice. We can be born as a puru, or we can be born as an elephant, or we can be born as a goat or a chicken or anything. Because everything is same. The body matter is same. Chaitanya is different for Chaitanya is same. But we have been lucky enough that we have got the human body. When you have the human body, then what are the pursuits of human body? We have 4 pursuits of human beings, which are not there in the case of animals or birds or anything. That is, the first thing is Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. These 4 pursuits are possible only when we have a human form. Animals don't have it. Okay. So the moksha, if at all somebody has to achieve moksha and then become merged with that of the God, it is possible only when you are having this Narajanma. If you are going to be a goat or a chicken or an elephant or a lion, we have no possibility of attaining moksha. Only Narajanmam that we have got has got the opportunity for taking us to the moksha towards the God. Okay, that is very, very important thing to understand. Then when you look at the human being, we have got only 4 pursuits. Everybody is the human being, whether he is at Alaska or he is going to be at Ambala. There's only 4 pursuits. One is Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. In fact, many of us, when you do Sankalpam for some of the functions, no Mama Bhakta, Samastra, Dudak, Shridvara, we say Saha Kudumanam, Shema, Stejya, Virja, Vijaya, Ayur, Ishtara, Vivratyam, Dharma, Kama, Moksha, Siddhyartham. We say that in every one of Sankalpams, we say that because only as a Purusha, the human being, we have the opportunity of pursuing these particular 4 things: Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. In fact, in the Sastricals, when they chant, they say Dharma, Kama, Moksha. But specifically in Vedanta, they say that first is Artha, then Kama, then Dharma, then only Moksha. Artha means anything that we do because of insecurity in us. Why do we study? We are insecure. Only when we study, I will get a job. So job is a security. Then you go to your job, then you start looking for growth in the job because you feel insecure. If I don't do well, I will not be able to grow forward. You start saving money. Why do you save money? Insecurity. You start putting money in mutual funds because you have insecurity of the future. Then you have a house, insecurity. You have a children because you want your progeny and because you feel that in old age somebody should be there to support you, insecurity. So Artha is you do everything in this world because you are insecure. Whether it is getting married or getting into a job, whether it is studying, whether trying to go for a promotion, everything we are doing with a purpose because we feel insecure. That insecurity is something which we all try to overcome by continuously looking for Artha. Now, if you look at an animal kingdom, a dog does not care whether it is going to get its meal tomorrow morning. It has its food today, it is fine. Whereas where we are worried, so I have to have my sugar for next week, I have to have my rice for next week, I have to plan for something for next year. We plan because we feel we are insecure. We continue to plan for them. Whereas if you look at the entire creation of the world, God has given everything to everybody, including the animal kingdom. The dog does not care what it is going to get for its next meal. It is getting its next meal. It is living its full life of 15 years and it is going. But we have insecurity. We feel that tomorrow I may not be having this. Tomorrow I may fall sick. I may have to save money. Tomorrow I have got this problem. I have to have insurance. We continue to live in insecurity. So we pursue Artha. Artha is to overcome insecurity feeling in us. Then Kama. Kama is desires fulfilling. When you have money, I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go and enjoy. And I am going to have satisfaction of my sensory pleasures as well as mental pleasures. So I have, that's called Kama. You go for that. I go there, I see a beautiful mountain, my eyes are getting a sensory pleasure. I go and have a wonderful ice cream, my tongue is having a wonderful pleasure. So we go towards Kama. But the next stage of thing. But when you go for a Kama, at the end of the day, Kama will have an effect on Artha. You go and spend 1 lakh of rupees in terms of your vacationing, your Artha comes down. Your security further is, your insecurity further goes up because you already spent 1 lakh of rupees. Then again, you go for 1 week of vacationing and you realize that after 1 week, the Kama desire is gone. I want to get back home. So you want to come back. Then when you buy a new car, you are so happy. I got a beautiful Honda City. We are very happy. 3 days down the line, you find somebody else is driving an Audi. You sit in the Audi and you say, hey, I'm not happy with the Honda City. So Kama, it doesn't give you satisfaction. It only starts making you to desire more and more and more and more. You are not able to get satisfied. At the end of the day, all of us, at this point in time, we pursue Artha and Kama. Then next is Dharma. Some of the people, beyond an Artha and Kama, they also start pursuing what? Dharma. Dharma means they feel that the happiness that they derive is not only by what they enjoy through sensual pleasures or whatever it may be, or having a bank account, but also in seeing somebody else happy. Okay, they start doing some charity. They go and do some kind of a seva work. So that provides them the kind of happiness. That provides them some kind of happiness, satisfaction, purpose in doing something. So somebody, when they're not done a work, they do that work, they have inner satisfaction. Those kinds of things are called dharma. And when you are able to have Artha and Kama, with a focus on dharma, if dharma related Artha, dharma related Kama is what one should pursue. I'm not telling that we should not pursue, but it should all be focused on dharma, and dharma oriented Kama and Artha are very, very important in terms of a pursuit that we have to start looking at. The last thing is moksha. But at the end of the day, you find that dharmartha kama goes going on and going on and going on. At the end of the day, then we fall and then we are again born and we again start doing the same thing. We are born, we go to studies, we go to school, write your JEE exam or NEET exam, become a doctor, run, have children. No, you keep going. Samsara will keep on going. But how do you come out of samsara sagara? It's a moksha. Moksha is trying to understand who are you, and then identifying who is God, and then what are the connection between ourselves and God. That is, and once you understand that is what is called moksha. Once we are able to understand and realize who I am, who the Atma is, then we are now in the process of moksha. We start going towards moksha. So when you start attending a class in Upanishads or in the case of Bhagavad Gita, then there is a desire in every one of us to understand what is moksha. We are all in the path of moksha. That's what we all have to understand. Okay. So I just given a very, very brief explanation. I hope it has made some amount of sense to you. I could have given a very big lecture, but it will go on forever. But I think I'll stop from here. As we start doing 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, there will be a lot more of such kinds of discussions that we'll have, which will be now harping on how the self has to be realized, how the moksha has to be understood, and how we have got to pursue. It is not possible in the case of one life. It has got to have many more lives. But we have been given this opportunity that in this life, with this body only, we can do this. Only when you are going to be human being, with this kind of mindset, we can learn Gita. Otherwise, everybody is not able to learn Gita. We are all very fortunate. I am also very fortunate that I am able to sit with all of you and discuss about Gita. So we'll start now. With this background, we'll start the chanting of the Bhagavad Gita, starting of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, and then we'll go through. And as we discuss, as we start talking on some of the shlokas, we'll have more and more discussions which will give some clarity. And at the end of the class, maybe 10 minutes, we'll have some discussions. After the YouTube session is over, we can have some 10-minute discussion in terms of some clarification that you may have, which I'll try to see if I'm able to explain. Otherwise, I'll try to check with some of the literatures or some people whom I know and get back to you. So let us begin our journey. I am also like you. I am also a learner like you. Whatever little I'm having, I'm trying to share with you. Okay. With this, we will start our Bhagavad Gita class. Okay. Okay, Kanchana Bhagini?
Yes, Mahodaya. I'll call the devotee name.
Yeah.
Lalita Ramachandran Bhagini.
No. Yes, ma.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Pratamodhyayah.
Atha Prathamodhyayah. Atha Prathamodhyayah.
Arjuna Vishada Yogaha.
Arjuna Vishada Yogaha. Arjuna Vishada Yogaha.
Good. So we say Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. We go down to the Paramatma and we say Atha. Now onwards, Prathamodhyayah is going to be the first chapter. And the name of the chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. This is the yoga. This is the chapter which talks about the grief of Arjuna. So we are going to understand the grief of Arjuna. And one more thing I want to tell you is that from the chapter 2, Shloka number 11, only the actual Gita Bodhesham is starting. Till that, it is context setting only. First chapter and second chapter to Shloka 10 is all context setting for the Bhagavad Gita Upadesham, which takes place from the 11th Shloka of the second chapter. So we have 47 plus 57 to 58 Shlokas. We only do a context setting. So this chapter is going to be context setting. We'll try to go pretty fast on it. Adi Shankaracharya, when he wrote a Bhashyam for Bhagavad Gita, he does not touch the first 58 Shlokas. He starts writing the Bhashyam only from the 11th Shloka of the second chapter. From there only the actual Gita Upadesham is starting. Just only for academic understanding, I just thought I'll tell you. So this will have the first, whatever we are going to talk about the context setting, will have a lot of things. It's all historical and some of them things can be event also. So we'll just try to understand that and lay a foundation to have the context of the Bhagavad Gita, so that when we start from the 11th shloka of second chapter, we start really getting into the Upadesha. Okay? Next.
Leena Mehul Dama Bagini.
Dhritarashtra.
Leena Mehul Dama Bagini.
Yes, ma'am.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dhritarashtra Uvacha.
Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre.
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Good. Next.
PV Revati Bagini.
Yes, ma'am.
Mamakaः Pandavaश्चैव.
Mamaha Pandavachaiva.
No, hold on. Mamaka is ka. Mamaka. Mamaka Pandavaश्चैव.
Mamaka Pandavachaiva.
Pandavaश्चैव. Please look at this akshara parango. Look at the akshara and pronounce on the akshara. If you have got Pandava in your text, correct it as Pandava. Mamaka Pandavaश्चैva.
Mamaka Pandavachaiva. Mamaka Pandavachaiva.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Kimagurvata Sanjaya. Kimagurvata Sanjaya.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Kurukshetre, that kind of who. You are telling Guru.
Kimakurvata.
You please listen to it. I'll tell you. The most important, only now we got textbooks available to us. In the Vedic age, there was no text. It was all hearing. Hearing has to be so strong that you are able to follow by hearing. You should close your eyes and try to hear and understand that. So, of course, here need the text also. So, please listen to it carefully. Kima kurvata Sanjaya.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Mamakaः Pandavaश्चैva. Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Mamaha Pandavachaiva. Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Mamaha Pandavachaiva. Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Now you corrected your Kima Kurvata, but Mamaka became Mamagha. Okay, please listen to
Mamaka.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yes, you please listen to everybody. Okay.
Okay.
I will not do the correction more and more because we lose time. Listen to what I am chanting every time. Listen to what others are chanting when I correct and take corrective action. Okay. Yeah.
Bharati Sridhar Bagini.
Yes, Bhagini.
Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Good. And try to give emphasis by Yuyutsavaha. That it also should be pronounced well. You pronounce well, but give a kind of importance for it. Similarly, ksha, dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, ikshetre, like that. Okay. Can you repeat once again? Only once.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Very good. Next.
TV Lalita Bagini.
मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय
Good. Next.
TV Lalita Bagini. Okay. Banu Rekha Bagini.
That screen is. Should I repeat?
Oh, sorry. Mamakaः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय
मामका पाण्डवा चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय मामकाः पाण्डवा चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Yeah, you said it, you told right, but Pandavash-chaiva. Wash with them. Wash, not Vachaiva. Mamaka Pandavash-chaiva. Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Next.
K Padma Bagini. K Padma Bagini.
Namaste, Mahodaya. Namaste, Bhagini.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Mamakaः Pandavaश्चैव Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Kimakurvata. In Hindi, it is okay. It is not Hindi. Sanskrit में क्या full pronounce करना है.
हाँ, किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Correct. Okay, next.
Gurumurti Mahodaya.
Can you chant it yourself once?
Gurumurti Mahodaya. Yes, no.
Namaste, namaste. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveda yuyutsavah mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvada sanjaya.
Very good. Next.
Sugam Bagini. Sugam Bagini. Okay, Sri Lakshmi HR Bagini.
धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः.
Okay. Next.
मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Now we'll have 3 people chanting it fully once. Okay. Yeah.
Veena Raja Bagini.
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Very good.
Jyotirmayi Bagini. Jyotirmayi Bagini.
Namaste, ma'am. Namaste, namaste. Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामका पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Okay, good.
Manjula Bagini. Manjula Bagini. Srimati Bhagini.
नमस्ते महोदय
Namaste.
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेता युयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय.
Good. I think there is a good grip in terms of chanting these two lines. So now I'll just go to the meaning of this sloka. Dhritarashtra has been Sanjaya has been given the power by Vyasa to have a view of what is happening in the warfield. And Dhritarashtra, being a blind man, he is wanting to hear from Sanjaya as to what is happening in the warfield. So Dhritarashtra is asking the question. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. He is asking, he told. What did he say? Sanjaya, the last letter. Oh Sanjaya, oh my Mr. Sanjaya, Minister Sanjaya, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. Kurukshetre is the karma bhumi, where the fighting is going on. That place is Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is even there north of Delhi. If you travel 150 kilometers or so, you'll be able to go to Kurukshetra. That place is still there in Haryana. And it is also called Dharma Kshetre. Kshetra means place. It's also Dharma Kshetre because it is a Dharma war. There is a kind of rules and regulations which both the people are able to follow. One. Secondly, it is a war for establishing Dharma in that place. That place is a place where Dharma is going to be established. So also it's called Dharma Kshetra. So Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. In the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, for the sake of war, Yutsavaha, Samaveta, assembled for the sake of war. So he is asking, in the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, people have assembled for war. In that, Dhritarashtra says, Mamakaha, my people, and Pandavaha, cha iva, Pandavas, my people, and Pandu's people, Kim Akurvata, what are they doing? That's what he's asking. Now you see this particular very starting itself is tragic starting here. When Pandu was there, his elder brother is Dhritarashtra. Pandu had all respect for Dhritarashtra. In our Hindu culture, when the grandfather is there, he will look after the children, both the sons and grandchildren, in the same manner. There's no partiality. In case the grandfather is no more there, the brothers are there, the eldest brother in the family is given the sthana of the head of the family, which means that he is going to be the guardian of the interest of everybody in the family, be it brothers' children or his own children. In this particular case, Pandu has died. He had a premature death. His children and his wife are in the custody of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra has to have that mindset up to take care of the children of his own brother. His children of his own brother are also entitled for things of the kingdom that he has inherited. So he is as an eldest son in the family, Dhritarashtra, when his younger brother is no more and his children are there, they look upon, Pandus look upon Dhritarashtra as a fatherly figure. They feel that he is my dad is not there, but Dhritarashtra is there to support. But now this person, Dhritarashtra, he says, my children and Pandu's children. See, he has already made in his mind that my children are different and Pandu's children are different. He has already separated them. He does not care. When you say my children, automatically you say that whatever mistakes they do, you ignore that. If it is somebody's children doing the same mistake, you pinpoint. See, look at the way this fellow is behaving, you say, but it is your own children, you will not accept it. You say, no, it is my children. So whenever this mind comes into the mind, you become partial. So there is a conflict in the mind of Dhritarashtra. He is not able to even see his own brother's children who are dependent on him and looking up to him as a father. His mind is corrupted. My children and Pandu's children, that statement itself, he has got a very, very corrupted mindset. The conflict is there in his mind. He does not know how to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. So it is dharma versus adharma war. So he's asking Sanjaya, what are they doing? My children and his children. That means the conflict has already come up in his mind. If the conflict is there, come what may, hook or crook, he wants only his children to win and Pandu's children to be killed. That's what he will be desiring. That's what he will be praying. Look at the tragedy of this situation. Okay. So that is the way this starts. Okay. Now, Gita is also called as a moksha sadhana. By reading Gita, you are able to achieve moksha. We have to understand the body, whatever we have, is also called Kurukshetra, because with the body only we do all actions. At Kurukshetra is the field where every action is taking place. With his body, we are doing all the actions. So the body can also be thought of as a Kurukshetra. And it is a Dharma Kshetra. We have got this particular Kshetra because the punyas that we had accumulated in our past lives were more than that of papas. And so we were given this particular body. Because of that dharma that we have done in the past, we have got this body. So it's also called Dharma Kshetra. Kurukshetra is also this body. So in the body, when we are there, we need to have an understanding of Atma and Anatma. The way he is not able to understand Mamakaha and Pandavaha, we ourselves are not able to understand what is Anatma and what is Atma. We think this body is ours and I am only this body, but Atma is different. So this conflict, the Viveka is not there in us also. So when you look at this from the Gita Moksha reading, we have to understand this body itself is a Kurukshetra or a Dharma Kshetra. And Mamakaha and Pandavaha is similar to Atma and Anatma. Mamakaha and Pandava is Dharma versus Dharma. So all these things are the meanings that we need to understand from this particular starting sloka. So this particular sloka is asking what is happening between my children and Pandu's children. The first question. Gita has got 700 slokas. The last sloka, it ends up Sanjaya Uvacha. The 700 sloka I am telling. Sanjaya Uvacha Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanurdharah Tatyaschir Vijayo Bhutir Drivanitir Madhirbamaha. The last sloka, what Sanjaya says, take this as the first question. Last question, answer is says Sanjaya, he says that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, wherever Lord Krishna is there. Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, wherever Partha is holding his bow and arrow. Tatra, in that place. Shri, wealth. Vijaya, victory. Dhriva Nitir, justice, everything will prevail. So the first sloka, Dhritarashtra Uvacha to Sanjaya, asking Sanjaya, last sloka Sanjaya says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, that is where everything is going to be there, victory is going to be there. That is the way the last sloka ends. I just started wanting to tell you that this is the way it's going to be. Okay, so now I think we'll stop the class at this point in time. And next we'll discuss as what Sanjaya is going to respond to Dhritarashtra. We'll take it up in next class tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Yadakshara Pada Prashtam Matra Hinam Tayad Bhavet Tatsarvam Shamyatam Deva Narayana Namostute Visarga Bindu Matrani Padapadaksharaani Cha Nyunani Cha Tiriktani Kshamaspa Purushottama Anyata Sharanam Nasti Tvameva Sharanam Mama Tasmat Karunya Bhavina Raksha Raksha Janardana Raksha Jaksha Janardana Raksha Raksha Janardana Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.